Hey guys, Talia here, founder of Workweek Lunch, and today I'm going to tell you exactly how I started my six-figure online business. Let's do it! Workweek Lunch is a website and subscription that helps people all over the world save time and save money with meal prep. We send out weekly meal plans, recipes, and grocery lists to all of our customers, and that's basically the business model. Right now, we have a few thousand customers. I've been full-time for 2 years, and we have another full-time employee and a staff of 6 part-time contractors. We've been featured in the New York Times. We have 500,000 almost Instagram followers. And the best part, we get to help people all over the world create their own systems around food to get more out of life. That's all I've wanted from the beginning, and it's just so cool that I actually get to do that and make an impact on other people's lives. So today, I'm going to tell you exactly the first steps I took to get started, how much it costs, how did I come with this idea, how did I figure out the subscription thing, all that stuff I'm going to tell you. And I've never made a video like this before. I've never really gone this much in depth. So I hope you stick around. Thank you so much for watching. And while you're here, just hit the subscribe button for more. Question number 1, how did you get the idea for Workweek Lunch? So it really started when I read this book called I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. I'll link that in the description. And I learned about how to manage my money, but also how to generate different streams of income. And I was very interested in not just having a job to make money. I wanted to make money on the side. So I ended up signing up for one of his online courses called Zero to Launch. And that course walked me through the exact steps from coming up with an idea to launching a product. And so that's basically the first step I did. And then in that course, that's when I figured out the idea for Workweek Lunch. So I had no idea what I was going to do when I signed up for that course. By the way, I just want to say I'm not affiliated with Ramit Sethi's company. I'm just a student and I'm a fan. So just know that. I'm not being paid to say any of this. It's just like my experience, and it was a good one. I went through the entire course before actually sitting down to do the work. So I was in Thailand with my mom. We take an annual trip pre-COVID. And I turned to her and was like, why don't I just teach people how to cook? At the time, I was working at a company called Elite Daily, and it was just a regular 9-to-5 job. I was a writer, and I would bring in my lunch to work every day, and my coworkers would ask me, like, how do you do that? How do you have time for that? It looks so good. And after going through this course, I had learned to pick up on these conversations like, this really simple, straightforward thing that comes so easily to me is actually really difficult for people my age. Okay, maybe there's something here. And that's when I realized that meal prep could be something I could get paid to teach other people how to do. This was a problem people had that they might pay to solve. So that's how I came up with the idea. Just this course gave me kind of the frameworks, and I guess it gave me a way to think about how to come up with a business idea, and just following the steps of, okay, what am I good at? What problems would I be able to solve for people? And I just landed on this meal prep thing. I had other ideas but they didn't excite me as much as this, so I just decided to go for it. Question number 2, why meal prep? So I talked a little bit about that, how I got there, but I started meal prepping right after college to save money. That was the number 1 motivation for me. It wasn't fitness or anything like that. It was like, I'm in New York City, I was making about $30,000 a year. I was spending $600 a month on food for one person, and I just knew it had to stop. So I decided to meal prep to save money. Also, I really wanted to save up to build an emergency fund and to take myself on snowboarding trips. I love snowboarding. So that was my motivation to get started. And at first, in my first job, people used to make fun of me for meal prep, but I just kept doing it anyway, and it really changed my life. There was nothing like opening up the fridge and just seeing all that food there. It made me feel so good and just so on it. I really believe that meal prep is probably one of the best forms of self-care, but it's also the least sexy version of it. But it really works. Question number 3, once you've had the idea, what were the first steps you took? This is a question I get probably the most, and it's really daunting when you are kind of in the beginning and you're like, oh my God, what do I even do first? Do I make a website? Do I get an LLC? Like, what do I do? So here's what I did. Like I said, I had this course at Zero to Launch, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it now. It's no longer called Zero to Launch, it's now called Earnable. So there's a description. Again, I'm not affiliated with this, but there's a link in the description. And it basically broke it down into coming up with the idea, building an audience, deciding what products you'll sell, and then selling those products. And when we say products, I mean online ebooks, video courses, that kind of thing, not physical products and not a subscription. So I had this path, and the first step on the path was building an audience. So the first thing I did was I got a domain, I created a website, and I started making content for free. And in that process, I had loads of conversations with people online, like on Reddit, strangers, and my friends, just acquaintances, about this problem. Do you feel like you're eating the same thing all the time? Do you feel like you hate cooking, but you also don't want to spend money on takeout? All the common problems that people have right before they start meal prepping and the reason that they get into it. I would ask people a ton of questions, and I was probably really annoying while doing it, but that's where I got a lot of the information from that I then used to build really useful and valuable blog posts. That's the thing, this information and content I was creating was really actionable. What are the tips? What are the strategies? What are the things I can do to fix my audience's problems immediately? So that's what I focused on for a whole year before I even saw a dime. And if you're wondering what I did to make money, well, I had a full-time job for most of that time, but then I got let go and I started a freelance career. I decided that I was going to freelance and continue building Workweek Lunch on the side. That whole first year before I launched anything, I was working on Workweek Lunch on evenings and weekends, early mornings. It really wasn't my full-time thing yet. So let's see, I started the blog and Instagram in June 2016, and I hit 10,000 Instagram followers exactly a year after. 6 months after that, I hit 100,000 followers. And by then I had already launched my first product, and I made back my investment that I had put into that online course I bought. So let's see, I launched my first product 15 months after starting. It was August 2017, and it was just a simple meal plan ebook. I think it was a PDF, and it was just a 2-week meal plan. You would pay, I think, $20, and it would just go to your email. That was it. But by then I already had an audience of around 50,000 Instagram followers and an email list of about, I want to say 5,000 to just sell this to. So it was pretty easy, and that's the key. I built my audience first. I spent a long time doing that, and then I was able to make money, because the truth is, if you build it, they might not come. But if you already have the people and you know what their problems are and you know that you can solve them, it's way easier to just put out a product and test things and see if they will actually buy them. Keep in mind, during this time, I was living with my mom. I had very low expenses. I had that privilege, so just remember that when you're watching this, like, how did you fund your life? I was barely making enough as a freelancer in the beginning, just barely. And I was so lucky that my mom let me live with her for a few months. Yeah, I was just very lucky, so just keep that in mind. Question number 4, how did you go full time? So 2 years after launching Workweek Lunch, I had already sold a couple ebooks and meal plans, like I mentioned earlier. I sold recipe ebooks, just think like a cookbook, but online. It's a PDF, it's on your site. And the meal plans, I kept putting them out, just seeing if people would buy them. And the truth is, the income I was making paid the rent and some of the expenses for running the business, but it definitely wasn't enough to go full time. And there was a point where I tried to launch a higher priced product, and it flopped so bad. It was miserable. I should have known that my money conscious meal prep audience wouldn't pay $200 for an 8-week accountability course. Like, what was I thinking? Good thing I tested it though, because I learned a lot in that process. So after that failure, I picked myself up. I think I put out another ebook quickly, and then I remember my mom sat me down and she was like, look, you've been working on this for 2 years. You either gotta figure out how to make it full-time or you kill it. And she basically talked about the subscription model option, which was not taught to me in that course I bought. It was not about how to build a subscription. She was like, you're already putting out your own personal weekly meal plan. You're already putting out recipes and your own grocery list. Why not flip it, give that to them, put a paywall on your recipes, and charge less than $10 a month. That was the key, especially after what I learned with that higher priced failure. So I was like, okay, that's kind of scary, putting recipes behind a paywall, charging people for recipes. It's not something you normally see online, but she was right. I worked on it for so long, it's like I had to make a decision, kill it or actually try and go full time. So we had that conversation in April of 2018. By May of that year, I had launched the beta, and by June we were public. I just got it out there in the world. So that took 2 months to put together, and I work very fast. And in that first week, 300 people signed up. That's how I knew I had something. Like, oh, okay, this is so easy. It's supposed to feel like that. But it took me, I think, 6 or 7 different products to get there. Yeah, I launched a program. People signed up every single week. Every single day we make sales, which is insane. And I was able to go full time a few months after launching the subscription program, which again is only $7.99 a month. But you have to remember, by the time I got there, I had already tested different products. I already had an audience of about 250,000 on Instagram and at least 20,000 on my email list, and lots of blog traffic. So I already had a lot of things in place. I didn't just come out the gate with a subscription. You have to build an audience first if you're doing this online business thing. And it really worked for me. Like all that work really paid off. So what was I doing between launching and going full time? I was an Instagram consultant. So I figured out, all the while I was working on my freelance career too. So I'd been developing that, and by then I was making about $500 an hour doing Instagram consulting, and I was able to shut that down completely at the end of 2018. So there was a little bit of overlap there, but not too much, because I really didn't like doing that. And I just wanted to do Workweek Lunch full time. Question number 5, how much did it cost to start Workweek Lunch? It was really fun to go back and figure this out. So the course I invested in was $2,400 because I did the month-to-month payment plan. If I didn't do that, it would have been $2,000. So I think I paid $200 a month for a year to just do that course. So that was the biggest expense, but also the one that really was the most impactful, because if I hadn't purchased that course, I would have had to figure all this out by myself, and it would have taken me forever. This was just a proven path that got me started, and I'm so happy I did it. What else? My LLC, which I only purchased after launching my first product, was about $400. My domain was $12. WordPress themes were $100. MailChimp was $10 a month to start, and WordPress hosting was $31 a month to start. So aside from the course, initial cost to start the business was $1,127. So worth it. All right, to recap. I went from a 9-to-5 job making about $43,000 a year to running a 6-figure business with a staff in less than 4 years, and I'm really proud of that. Of course, I wasn't alone. I had help. My mom's an entrepreneur, my brother's an entrepreneur. I bought this course. I had a community. I had people on my side, and I had plenty of ups and downs, and I will continue to have them. But it's been awesome. And the coolest part is watching the community grow and seeing members of the Workweek Lunch community and the subscription become better cooks, learn to love meal prep more, and learn to use meal prep as a tool to get more out of their life, which is why I started this in the first place. It never gets old, like reading the messages and comments from our members, like how this program has impacted their lives and just made their lives a lot easier. So it brings me so much joy, and there's nothing I'd rather be doing. All right, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching if you're still here. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer questions, and don't forget to hit subscribe on your way out. I will see you next time. Bye.